2017 Ultra Trail World Tour calendar is on par with the current call for summer exotic destinations. Already 10 epic stages have taken place on 4 different continents and welcomed thousands of trail runners all over the world. Today, the Ultra Trail World Tour is shedding light on Austria and the Italian Dolomites. We're in Cortina d'Ampezzo at the heart of the Dolomites for the Lavaredo Ultra Trail, which is considered a key race in the season to prepare for UTMB. Other location and other scenery for Austria, where hundreds of trail runners have come to experience their first ultra race. An enchanting melody of the Ultra Trail World Tour was written in the Austrian Alps for a new race. Mozart's home, Salzburg, hosts the Mozart 100 that will navigate on the shores of the Fulgt and the Wolfgang lakes for the 100K. Having raised classical music prodigies like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Herbert von Karajan, this area is a very unusual scene for trail runners. A very lush and non-technical setup invites trail runners on a 100K loop with 4,700 meters of gain. From Salzburg to the Wolfgang Lake, this is an ideal course for runners who want to have their first try at this distance. The town is still sound asleep when the 200 participants of the 100K rally for the 5 a.m. start. This is one of the 8 different distances offered on the day. Race management invites road runners to get involved and experience the joys of trail running. They wish to break the beliefs about ultra trail races, sometimes seen as too extreme, in order to make it accessible to all. The rolling course runs through a country where trail running started only recently, with as little as 40 races taking place annually. Like in road running races, runners will find over 10 filling stations along the way, many more than traditional ultra trail races that tend to push runners to be almost self-sufficient in between much more spread out aid stations. Water is a dominant element for this race, with several lakes, numerous creeks, and the Salash River, one of the Alps' biggest ones. This explains the very green route that often runs in the shade of the dense forests. Despite moody weather conditions, this smooth ultra offers breathtaking panoramic views over the local lakes. is marked with beautiful isolated farms, tall substantial houses, and a few hills such as Plombergstein in St. Gillen or Mont Capucin that will challenge the fitness of the participants. The white gravel roads allow for a fast and easily sustainable pace. It turns out that strong winds will actually be the biggest challenge on race day. The Italian neighbors are well represented in the 100K distance. Cecilia Flori and Alexander Rabersteiner are leading the women's and men's field respectively. Their comeback on the Fuchsel Lake shores already announced the end of the journey. Paved roads and countless stairways will drain runners from their last strength before the nearing end. A finish in the style of the popular urban trails add another modern touch to this very successful event. Italian runner Alexander Rabensteiner wins the 2017 edition in 10 hours and 26 minutes and is rewarded with local beverage. English runner Harry Jones crosses the line in second position 15 minutes later. Hungarian runner Saba Nemeth rounds up a podium very much aligned with the international dimension of the Utwt. We'll follow a long stream of happy finishers who will no doubt have caught the ultra running bug, perhaps even for some the ambition to come and experience the thrill of joining the lead pack. The scene set by the Lavaredo Ultra Trail is another beast. In this high alpine skiing area, slopes are steep, air is thin, and single tracks much rockier than Austria. The main race offers a grueling 120-kilometer course with 5,800 meters of elevation gain across the Dolomites and attracts a substantial field of elite runners. Numerous top contenders have come to Cortina d'Ampezzo for this season's classic. Along with the 1,600 other participants, they will run across wide-open landscapes and steep mountains. Peaking at 3,000 meters, the Tre Cime surely will be a highlight of the course. Top French female runners Juliette Blanchet, Maude Gobert, and Caroline Chavreau have come earlier to run sections of the course. A group exercise that helps get familiar with the difficulty of the terrain, get used to the altitude, and increase confidence on race day.
Dans ma tête, au début de l'année, c'est vrai qu'au mois de décembre, souvent je pense à ce que je veux faire après. J'avais coché la TDS. Ensuite, le Grand Raid de la Réunion, c'est vrai que depuis que j'ai mis mes premières chaussures de trail, c'est, on va dire, entre guillemets, un rêve de le faire, d'arriver au bout. Comme c'est des courses qui font partie du Utwt, je me suis dit, je pense que j'ai atteint l'âge de raison pour pouvoir me lancer dans une saison d'ultra. Je pense qu'avant, il ne fallait pas trop se brûler les ailes. Maintenant, je me sens prête pour l'ultra parce que c'est plus pour moi une aventure, la découverte de nouveaux espaces et puis surtout de nouvelles courses.
Quando ti guardo io non resisto ai tuoi occhi così blu. Tu non mi guardi, io non resisto e continuo a cadere giù.
With its ideal distance and time in the season, the Lavaredo Ultra Trail makes the perfect final test before 8 races of the season, such as UTMB. With a course and environment similar to what can be found on the other side of the border. A lot of participants have come for a final rehearsal before the big show.
Non mi guardi, io non resisto, sogno solo i tuoi occhi blu, se non ti guardo dentro.
The last year was my first year running races international, and I take advantage in the Utwt World Tour, and I finished third, and it was so good. But this year I would like to do a good job in Lavaredo and UTMB for try to stay in front of Utwt World Tour. I think that in this race we have maybe 6-7 runners that can be in front of the race. For sure I will try to be one of them.
Sei bella come il sole nel cielo, ti guardo, ma tu non guardi me.
For me, I'm 25 years old, so I need to learn a lot of things of trail running, and Francois then is one of the best runners in the world. I could share a lot of moments with him during Mute, 60 kilometers together. So for me, it's a pity that Francois is not here because he's a good person, and I think he's the best runner in the list. So it's a pity, but we will do the same that I did with Francois.
Quando ti guardo in tutto il mondo, ci sei solo tu. Bella come il sole nel cielo, ti porterei via con me. Sei bella come il sole nel cielo, ti guardo, ma tu non guardi me.
In the first part of the year, I didn't have this objective because I had other races, but then I changed a little bit my calendar, and now Lavaredo is one objective, and I need to do a good position for stay in the front of Utwt World Tour.
This well-organized race will be held for the 11th time this year. While elite athletes pick up their bib number, they are introduced to the rest of the field, a necessary step to be recognized as such, but can add to the pressure of having to perform well.
Basically, the reason why I'm here because I like competition and I like fast runners, and I guess they are. So I'm ready, and I'm ready to run with the guys and to share the trails and to have fun, no matter how the race will end.
The night before the race, a community run is organized where elite athletes and newbies can blend. A relaxed way for all to shake away the pre-race stress and loosen up the legs.
This year I'm back in Lavaredo, 2 years since the last time. I think this race this year is very competitive. Tomorrow I'm gonna go out, do my own race, which I always do. Try to run as much as possible, try to keep it easy during the night, save some energy for the morning. The last part I think is the most tricky, it's the hardest part. So if you have some speed left in your legs in the morning, you can do very well. I hope to be fast. I hope to be competitive. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's a long race. So yeah, we'll see. My training has gone great the last months. So yeah, hopefully. I think I did a mistake last year by running such a long race before the UTMB. So this year I'm going for a little shorter race. And then I think Lavaredo was yeah, a good choice. And Cortina on the mountain and everything is just really nice to be back here.
After several days of brutal thunderstorms, the skies are still loaded with dark clouds. Luckily, as the start time approaches, weather conditions finally clear out. The 1,600 participants can pack away the waterproof jackets and safely head towards the starting line. 11 p.m., the pack is finally unleashed in the streets of Cortina. For the occasion, excited and cheering spectators have gathered to watch the runners go off into the night. The course takes the runners across paved city roads before hitting the first trails. There, runners will spread out and a stream of headlamps will soon illuminate the night.
Before the Ultra World Tour, I do mountain biking. I go 8 years in mountain biking, and then after these 8 years, I have said to me now it's changed to the sport, and I run. I take up my shoes, and I'm happy to go in the nature. And then I start a little bit with the competitions also. I start with the small races only, so 40 Ks is now is small, but in the beginning it's also long for me. But I say then to me now it's better when I feel better when it's the race longer. And then the last year I do it a lot of ultra races. I do maybe 5 or 6 long ultra races, and I win every race. And then the last year I think now it's better to compete with the best guys in the world, and for this is now the time to make the World Tour.
Early on, Pau Capel breaks away from the lead pack. At the Hospital aid station, 8K into the race, he's already 2 minutes ahead of Scott Hawker and 4 minutes ahead of Seth Thronson. Frenchman Fabien Antoninos comes through the aid station in 13th place. Caroline Chavreau leads the women's field as expected. She seems to be breaking the spell of a very disappointing start of the season.
So this year, I mean, like Lavaredo every year seems to get the best runners that come to run here. And yeah, some of the runners, some of my good friends with the people that I'll be competing against. It's now with racing in these big World Tour races, you can't just run your own race and think, if I run my own race and I can run strong, maybe I'll win, because you have to think about what the other runners are doing, because sometimes they can push and they have the best race of their life, and if you're not with them, it's impossible to keep up. So yeah, the competition, and which makes the race even more exciting, is having the good competition to see how you compare against some of the best athletes in the world. So this bird is from New Zealand. The Māori, the traditional name is Kariaria, and it's a New Zealand falcon. So basically, whenever I used to be out in the mountains, whether I was running or hiking, you will see these birds, and so for me, when I see it, it helps me remember home, and also the birds, when the kariaria, when they're flying around, they just look so strong and peaceful and just amazing. So
as the aid stations go by, the lead runners are spreading more and more. It's now a solo game for each of them. Juliette Blanchet seems to be struggling but isn't worried yet. There's still a long way to go and time to get a second wind. In the background, Trecci may disappear into the night. In the lead, Pau Capel sustains his pace, chased down by American runner Seth Swanson. As the sun is about to set over the Dolomites and unveil a breathtaking scene, Gediminas Grenius is in third and still in the game. Early morning time is a critical moment in the race. Runners assess how much the night took out of them and how much they will have left for the rest of the day.
Les courses du World Tour, ça rassemble quand même des bons coureurs et des bonnes coureuses. Et moi, c'est quelque chose que je recherche, d'avoir des objectifs où il faut bien se préparer, y penser un peu toute l'année, comment faire pour arriver prêt pour le jour J. Ça me motive beaucoup plus de me préparer pour une course comme l'UTMB, où je sais que là, il ne faut pas se rater et il faut vraiment bien se préparer pour faire une bonne course. Alors le Lavaredo, c'est pas l'objectif principal de la saison, on va dire que c'est vraiment l'UTMB et la Diag, mes deux objectifs. Mais quand même, c'est une course que j'ai préparée sérieusement. On peut quand même pas dire que c'est une course de préparation. Une course de préparation, ça aurait été une course où je me suis entraînée toute la semaine, normalement, et j'arrive sur la surfatigue pour travailler là-dessus. Là, c'est quand même pas le cas, je me suis reposée avant. Donc c'est un demi-objectif ou trois quarts d'objectif, on va dire. Toute honnêteté, je pense que Caro, elle est quand même au-dessus du lot. Elle a un sacré niveau, qu'elle a progressé encore par rapport à l'an dernier. Donc elle va tirer la course féminine vers le haut et ça c'est génial. Donc on va tous essayer de faire ce qu'on peut un peu derrière. On verra comment ça se passe, mais en tout cas c'est sûr que c'est un sacré moteur. De manière générale, et puis pour le trail féminin, je trouve que elle nous tire toutes vers le haut.
The climb up to the famous Trecime, located just before the halfway point of the course, will reveal the runners' forms. They are all pacing themselves to get over this first major challenge. Behind the leaders, smiles are fading away and strides get shorter and shorter. The back of the pack can still enjoy the majesty of these 3,000 meters high rock formations. Pau Capel covered half of the race in the lead when he makes it to Simabanche. Nothing seems to disturb the Spanish runner who's taking the time to refuel at the aid station. Behind, Seth Swanson and Didrik Hermansen are still battling it out. kilometers later, in Malgarastua, no change for the two frontrunners. However, after a slow start, French athlete Fabien Antolinos is making his move. Having moved up from 13th to 8th position during the night, he broke into the top 5 with still a long way to go before the finish line. Caroline Chavreau seems to be back to the level she was in last year. She's leading the women's race ahead of Ruth Croft from New Zealand and Lisa Borzani. In ultras, the actual race doesn't often start before the halfway point. A hot sun is making the climb of the Trophain range towards the Col des Bosses even harder.
Ma saison a commencé fin janvier par une reprise tout simplement de l'entraînement après une grosse coupure de 3 mois. Puis donc j'ai commencé par un gros morceau, la Trans-Gran Canaria avec 120 bornes. Derrière j'ai fait le Madère Ultra Trail où là j'ai retrouvé quelques belles sensations de coureur sur un parcours qui est juste sublime. Et puis là maintenant je viens ici au Lavaredo Ultra Trail pour découvrir aussi les Dolomites. La stratégie c'est de partir quand même relativement prudemment. Il y a quand même des bons clients ce soir sur la course, donc je ne veux pas jouer d'entrée devant et puis me faire mal aux jambes tout de suite. Donc j'aimerais en garder un peu sous le pied pour la fin qui est assez costaud a priori avec des belles bosses et puis une dernière belle descente. Donc garder un petit peu d'énergie pour la fin et gérer on va dire jusqu'au 60e kilomètre et puis derrière lâcher un petit peu les chevaux si les sensations sont bonnes.
Fabien Antolinos stuck to his race strategy. The sports teacher is moving up the ranking all the way to Cest Thronson, who's now at sight. Capel is starting to face difficulties. The Spanish runner is experiencing severe stomach pain that forced him to slow down the pace dramatically. He'll try to push on, but will be forced to drop out soon after. A new race scenario is now to be rewritten by the lead runners. Behind the new leader, Seth Swanson, the battle is fierce between the front runners. Fabien Antolinos has moved up to 2nd place. Fulvio Dapit from Italy is now 3rd, and Didrik Hermansen passed Gediminas Grinius to take 4th place. The Norwegian runner Krogvig is coming back strong, threatening to take the 5th place. All top 10 runners are now in the last mountain section leading towards the final summit of the course, Passo Giao. From there, it's a 15k downhill until the finish line. Climbers will press on the pace in the last uphill while descenders will hold back and give it all in the last section into Cortina. Caroline Chavreau is leveling up with the men just outside of top 10 overall.
En fait, j'ai rarement de stratégie bien déterminée. Ça peut paraître bizarre, mais je prends souvent les choses comme elles viennent. Je vais essayer de partir à un bon rythme pour ne pas me faire trop distancer s'il y a des coureuses plus rapides, notamment Ruth Croft. Et puis après, essayer de tenir le plus longtemps possible et bien gérer les descentes, bien gérer la respiration, bien me ravitailler et puis on verra bien. Je suis beaucoup moins sereine que l'an dernier. L'an dernier, c'est sûr que quand j'avais vraiment une santé qui était au top, si je prenais le départ d'une course, en général, je savais que ça allait bien se passer, j'étais confiante. Là, mon corps peut me trahir, je pense que j'ai la volonté, je suis bien préparée, mais après, je ne sais jamais ce qui peut me tomber sur le coin du nez.
Today, Caroline seems to be back 100% and resisting Ruth Croft, who's now 30 minutes behind the Swiss-French runner. With the highest points of the course behind them, runners can now focus on the long descent that will take them into the finish line through single tracks and a few technical sections. Fabien Antolinos will put the hammer down on this last section of the course and pull away from his followers while they are still dealing with the last meters of the final climb. In the lead, Seth Swanson seems to be fading a little. With Fabien Antolinos, who's launched the final assault, the battle for first place is now on. Italian runner Fulvio Dapit is further back but still holding on to the podium, while Didrik Hermansen seems to have accepted having fallen back in the rankings. Gediminas Crinius, even further back, has slowed down the pace and is now soaking in the last views the course has to offer. Before the final 15 kilometers long descent, runners are refueling to be in the best conditions for this ultimate push. For the middle and back of the pack runners, sometimes less prepared against such unforgiving terrain, the last kilometers often mean extra suffering. But pain is forgotten when digging deep to successfully complete the whole journey. All villages the course is going through are getting fully involved. Children cheer on the participants in their own way, adding to the success of this event. On this side of the mountain, it's the calm before the storm. The peacefulness of the surroundings contrasts with the ongoing battle that's raging up at the front. At this stage of the race, it's still not possible to name a winner between Swanson and Antolinos. In Croda di Lago, final aid station of the race, the two men are within minutes. They are now digging into their final strength to earn the top spot on the podium. Almost the final stretch and a whole crowd awaits the hero of the day. Fabien Antoninos took a daring bet of not stopping at the final aid station. It paid off, and the French runner took over Swanson in the final kilometers of the race to take an unsuspected win.
C'est mythique, c'est une course qui est extra, dont on entend parler souvent en France. J'ai compris qu'il y avait eu une opportunité quand je les ai rattrapés à peu près au 75e kilomètre. J'ai dû les rattraper, tous les deux avec Pao. Donc j'ai dit, Pao avait 15 minutes d'avance sur moi à un moment donné, donc il était dans le rouge, il n'était pas bien. Donc je me suis dit qu'il allait assez facilement lâcher, c'est ce qu'il a fait. Mais par contre, Sèvres était bien, sur une bonne dynamique, et je me suis dit que ça allait être un sacré client jusqu'à l'arrivée, quoi. Voilà, qu'on allait se bagarrer les premières et deuxièmes places.
Seth Swanson crossed the finish line only a couple of minutes behind Fabien Antoninos. Surge a small time difference for an ultra. On the third spot of the podium, Norwegian runner Krogvig is the second big surprise of the day, having rallied on the second part of the race. Italian runner Fulvio Dapit falls short of the podium in front of his crowd. Then comes Haniel from Romania, Diederik Hermansen and Sébastien Chéniaud for 8th place, ahead of Julien Charrier who took 10th place. A little further back than usual, Gediminas Grinius experiences difficulties in the latest part of the race and misses the top 10. He'll however make the best out of this journey with his family and a smile on his face. In the women's field, Caroline Chavrot regains confidence with the win and 12th place overall.
Je suis vraiment contente. Je ne savais pas si j'étais en forme ou pas et j'avais vraiment à cœur de réussir et donc ça s'est bien passé et c'est vraiment une bonne nouvelle. Les courses, c'est vrai que ça fait rêver, on les prépare, après on y pense et oui, c'est des petites aventures et c'est chouette. Je suis tombée dans cette passion il y a 5 ans et je pense que je vais continuer encore un moment. Ouais, je suis vraiment contente pour Fabien parce que C'est un super coureur, mais il n'a pas toujours bien réussi ses courses. Donc là, il réussit une grande course et c'est vraiment génial pour lui.
Ruth Croft finishes second in the women's field, 45 minutes back from Caroline. Behind is Lisa Borzani, who's familiar with top ranking in the Ultra Trail World Tour. Behind these beasts of endurance and grit, over 1,000 runners will manage to finish the race before the 30 hours cutoff. Becoming finisher is a major achievement for all, regardless of the final time.
L'11ª edizione della The North Face Lavaredo Ultra Trail a Cortina d'Ampezzo si componeva quest'anno da 4 gare. La prima è stata la Cortina Sky Race, 20 km e 1000 metri di dislivello positivo. Giovedì alle 5 del pomeriggio ha visto 400 partenti da tutto il mondo con 60 nazioni rappresentate. Il venerdì mattina alle 10 abbiamo avuto la prima edizione della Cortina Kids Race, una gara per bambini divisi per fasce di età che ha avuto un successo strepitoso. È stato veramente commovente vedere tutti questi bambini in gara per il centro di Cortina. E poi venerdì sera alle 23 è partita la gara regina, la Lavaredo Ultra Trail, 120 km e 5.800 metri di dislivello positivo con 1.500 persone provenienti da tutto il mondo, anche qui 60 nazioni rappresentate. Sabato mattina invece è stata la volta della Cortina Trail con 48 km e 2.600 metri di dislivello positivo e anche qui altre 1.500 persone, quindi un successo clamoroso per questo evento internazionale qui a Cortina d'Ampezzo con bambini, giovani, adulti e quant'altro per un weekend di sport bellissimo.
The Italian Alps have once again delivered majestic landscapes, creating an enchanting environment for all trail runners. With 2 victories, the French trail running scene scored high on the main race of the weekend. The next stages of the Ultra Trail World Tour will take place in Switzerland first. Another alpinism mecca at the foothill of the Eiger, one of the most attractive mountains of the Alps. We will then leave Europe to head to the USA to cover the Western States Endurance Run, surely one of the highlight stages of the Ultra Trail World Tour.
Tu non mi guardi, io non resisto, sogno solo i tuoi occhi blu. Se non ti guardo dentro impazzisco, ogni giorno sempre più. Mi basterebbe solo uno sguardo per volare in alto lassù. Tu non mi guardi, io non resisto e continuo a cadere giù. Tu non mi guardi, io non so respirare più. Quando ti guardo in tutto il mondo ci sei solo tu.